Now, this force which we are talking about, children, can be divided into two types. What is it? The first one is the contact force, and the second one is the non-contact force. Okay, children. So let us go into details of this contact force and non-contact force. Look at the pictures here. What do we notice in this picture? We notice that a man has been lifting the weight. He is exercising. He is applying a force to lift the weights. Is he touching the weights, children? Yes, he is. Now let us look at the next one. A girl is cycling. Yes, she is also applying a force on the pedals to move the bicycle. Yes, so is she in contact with the object, children? Yes, she is. She has been applying force on the pedals. Now look at this one, children. Here, the bullocks are pulling the cart. The bullocks have been applying all force in order to pull the cart, children. Are they in contact with the object, children? Yes, they are in contact with the rope, and they are in contact with the cart also. Now, look at this picture, children. Can you see the two little children rowing the boat? Yes. But how have they been pulling this boat or rowing the boat, children? They are applying a force on the oars to push the boat further. Okay, so in all these things, children, or in all these examples, what did we notice? We have noticed that we have been using the help of the muscles to do all these works. See, in the first picture, he is stretching his muscles. He is using his muscles to lift the weight. In the second, you can see that she has been pedaling. She has been using all her force to pedal the cycle. Here, the bullocks have been applying a force. Here, the kids, in the next picture, the kids have been applying a force to move the boat a little further. So, if we notice all these things, children, we can say that all these force are the result of the action of the muscles. This force is known as the muscular force, children. The force exerted by the muscles is known as the muscular force. In all the examples which we have seen, children, the people are using their muscles in order to apply a force, and that is why we call it as the muscular force. Now let us go on to the next one. Look at the next picture. What is happening over here? The boy is rolling a ball. Now, how long does the ball roll, children? Does it roll forever? Forever? How long? How far? Does it roll forever? Not at all. It stops somewhere. But do you think that someone is coming and stopping it? Not at all. It stops on its own. Let us look at one more example and then we'll come to the conclusion of that. When you ride a bicycle and if you stop pedaling, how far can your bicycle move, children? Only till a certain extent. First of all, it slows down, yes? And then it stops forever, stops after a while. Is anyone applying a force to stop your bicycle? No. No force appears to be acting on it. But still, the speed decreases. And then it comes to rest. But there is a force which is responsible for this change. And this force is called as the frictional force. Children, the force which opposes the motion of an object is called as the frictional force. You have to remember that this force of friction or the frictional force is an opposing force, and it is also a contact force. Now, you might have a doubt that the ball is on the floor. It is not in contact with the boy, is it not? So you might have a doubt where this force of friction comes into play. Now, if you look at the board, children, or if you look at this ball, children, this ball is in contact. If you look at the ball, children, this is the floor. Yes, this lower part of the ball is in contact with the ground. The lower part of the ball is in contact with the ground. Here also, if you notice, the bicycle wheels are in contact with the ground. So in these two cases, they are in contact, and the force which is acting on it is an opposing force. So this force which is responsible for changing the state of motion of objects, is called as the frictional force. Okay, children, you have to remember that the force of friction always acts on all moving objects, and the direction of this force is always opposite to the direction of motion of the object. Okay, frictional force acts on all moving objects, and the second thing is that the direction of the frictional force is always opposite to the direction of the motion of the object. Is that clear, children? Yeah. So, we have studied about two types of contact forces. One is muscular force and the second one is frictional force. Now, let us learn about forces which come into play without any contact between the two objects. Till now, we have learned about muscular force and frictional force. These two are contact forces. Unless and until there is contact, these two forces cannot come into play. Is that clear, children?